Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devil Sunday. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with And Crew Brew. My name is Vinnie, Parise, here with Shorts Guy as we get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Minnesota Wild. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. The Devils, they're looking for their second straight win after taking down the Buffalo Sabres on Friday. Shorts Guy, how we doing?
Well, I'm recovering from that Giants loss to the dumb Jets, and I just found out Yeah, I know. And I just found out that our really good friend Max likes the Eagles, which is terrible. It's a poor life decision, Max. But yeah, I'm excited for the Devils to I'm excited for two things tonight. One, I'm excited to watch a Devils victory, hopeful Devils victory starting at 5 o'clock in 20 minutes. And I am also excited for a non-Devils event tonight. I had never had the chance nor remembered to watch the Heritage Classic, and it is on TV tonight, and I cannot wait to watch the Heritage Classic after the Devils game.
Shorts Guy, I am so excited that you are excited about the Heritage Classic. When I read your text earlier today, I was like, ooh, fellow Devils fan watching the Heritage Classic. I love every outdoor game, but there's something about the Heritage Classic that just
there
like,
is.
you know, Canadians like hockey, like to the nth degree. Like they feel about it, like here in America, we feel that way about like 4 different sports. In Canada, all that energy, all the energy you just poured into the Giants, on top of all the energy you're about to pour into the Devils, combine that, and that's your favorite hockey team if you're a Canadian hockey fan. And then, you know, every October you watch the Blue Jays a little bit, maybe. The Raptors in the spring are usually pretty good too. But, you know, the Heritage Classic, it's going to be so fun. I'm so excited. Right when the Devils game over, that's exactly what's going on my TV as well. My favorite football team, the Chicago Bears, they play tonight. That'll probably be what other people in the house want to watch. I'll be watching the Heritage Classic on the computer, but I am pumped to be checking out that game. I'm happy you are too. McDavid playing too. Good news.
Good. Yeah, very good news. Yeah, every year I say I want to watch it, and then March rolls around. I'm like, oh, when's the Heritage Classic? Oh, it was in October. What? But it's on. I don't know if it's ever been on a national broadcast in the U.S. like this. I know it's on TBS. Maybe I've just missed it. But the fact that it's nationally broadcast today, I think is fantastic, and I just cannot wait because there's something magical about those outdoor games that just it's. You know, a lot of people, I was talking to my parents tonight, you know, even my parents like, there's too many of them, blah, 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 which there's an argument for that. There's absolutely a case that there's too many outdoor games because the Winter Classic is pretty much the big one, at least in the U.S. that we look at. But the Heritage Classic and the Winter Classic, I think, are two of the premier ones. And if the Devils are not playing in a Stadium Series game, they can get rid of them. But if the Devils are in a Stadium Series, I think it's a fantastic way to be in an outdoor game because we're not either the Chicago Blackhawks, Pittsburgh Penguins, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Rangers. I guess you could say maybe Toronto and Detroit. Those are basically the teams that are in the Winter Classic.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Now, I used to have that feeling. Mm-hmm. Then I started going to a couple of them. And I'm like, okay, I was at the Winter Classic at Notre Dame between Chicago and Boston. Which is Stadium awesome. Series game in Chicago at Soldier Field against Pittsburgh and in Minnesota against the Wild. Mm-hmm. I wore my Zach Parise Wild jersey for those who are wondering. You probably don't really care. And then I did – is it just – no, I feel like I have one more. Either way, I realized that for the people attending the event, it is different. The ultimate celebration of hockey. If you complain about being on the TV too much, that's fine. Don't watch. Go to one. I'm telling you, go to one. We got one in New Jersey this upcoming February. Shorts Guy, like, we're going to be hanging out that day. We're going to be there celebrating hockey.
Much fun.
It's going to be so much fun. If anything, just understand that it helps the game of hockey just be the most ultimate experience. That's the outdoor games, and man, I'm excited. I wish I was in Edmonton tonight. I know it's probably like 10 degrees and no fun that way.
Still worth it. Still worth it.
It was so worth it.
It was just as cold for the Devils Rangers Stadium Series game at Yankee Stadium, which was great for the first period. The snow started falling. It was just this magical atmosphere, and then the second and third happened, and it wasn't. Almost got into a fight walking out of there. That was not fun, but that was such a great experience, and I'm excited that we're going to get to do it again in February in the state of New Jersey, not in that stupid state of New York and that stupid city, but in the state of New Jersey, where the Devils started in the Meadowlands. And having all of us together with the podcast in one spot, in one location to celebrate such a good thing is going to be so much fun. So, but I'll tell you,
and it's against the Flyers and the Rangers and Islanders. The Rangers and Islanders, they get the stinky Sunday afternoon game at the stadium. The Devils get prime time. The world wants to watch Jack Hughes and the boys take on the Philadelphia Flyers in prime time on Saturday night. That's what I'm talking about.
Agreed. And I've heard there's a Devils game in about 14 minutes, Vinny. So what are your thoughts on that?
There is. We kind of got to roll through it quickly when it's a Sunday game, when there's football to watch, and we got to take care of that business too. But yeah, today they're playing the Minnesota Wild, and the Minnesota Wild are a very good team that probably have some cap issues that cause them from being a great superstar team. I think once the contracts of Parise and Suter kind of clear their cap book, they'll go out and sign somebody huge, and it'll really just kind of be the missing piece to them being a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. But they got the core, the baseline of a really, really good team. It's not going to be easy for the Devils to play against tonight. They got to bring their best.
Yeah, I agree. And we cannot gloss over the fact that Minnesota has become it's like appreciating someone as they go along. One of my favorite goalies of all time, Marc-Andre Fleury, in net. You can never discount a team that has the Flower as one of their goaltenders, because he is just a consummate winner, and he has that ability. And my gosh, his style and goalie pads is one of the best in the freaking league, and I love it. I absolutely love everything he does. I was not a big fan of him when he was with Pittsburgh, but I've really come to enjoy him in the years since, and he is one of my favorite goaltenders that's not a New Jersey Devil goaltender.
That's funny you say that. We have a lot of similar hockey takes, I think. Marc-Andre Fleury, he makes me think of my childhood. He's one of my all-time favorites, too. And I love how he, even in the year 2023, he's not afraid to, stack the pads or do the little, the crazy saves where he launches his leg up in the air. He's out there playing goaltender the best way that he knows how. And, yeah, Dean Evison confirmed that he will be the starting goaltender for the Wild tonight, which is great news for the hockey fans in general. We're going to be without Nico Hischier tonight. He obviously took a big hit to the head from Connor Clifton, who was suspended for 2 games for said hit on Hischier. Michael McLeod gets his spot on the second line. What are your thoughts on the whole debacle right there?
Well, injuries are going to happen. It was a suspendable hit, obviously, and the suspension was handed out. But retrospect, now at this point, we can't do anything about it. So, we move forward. I think that's fantastic that they trust Mikey McLeod enough to put him on the second line and to put him up there. And that just, once again, just shows the depth of this team and the next man up mentality that we have currently. Mikey McLeod's able to go in and fill that role. And, good for Mikey, who started off as he struggled to get up to the Devils. He's a fourth liner, and all of a sudden here he is, playing second line in the absence of the captain. Arguably one of the best draft picks the Devils have ever picked at first overall that year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, Mikey McLeod, he was drafted, I think it was 12th overall or 11th overall. And he hasn't necessarily lived up. He's ideal on a fourth line. When they first drafted him, they probably thought, okay, high-end second-line center, maybe, tons of skill, was great in junior. That hasn't worked out that way. He's perfect on the fourth line. He wins face-offs. He can bring a little skill here and there. He was remarkable in the playoffs. But you'd like to have Hischier back, obviously, soon. He's considered day-to-day per rough. This is a home-and-home with the Minnesota Wild, but the next game isn't being played in Minnesota until Thursday. So maybe having the rest of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all resting for Nico Hischier, you probably get him back to what I would think is 100%. He did try to come back in the game against Buffalo on Friday, so that makes me think he did clear some sort of concussion protocol. You never know what happened later on as this, sometimes symptoms for concussions don't show up right away. But, I mean, you would hope that this is not too serious of a situation for the captain.
Yeah, if he was trying to come back for this past Friday and he just couldn't, that means he's close. They could have also found something else, or there was another issue that cropped up. However, it's this long layoff is just it's an odd long layoff, because it's like a second long layoff in just as many weeks, because there was that that long layoff in between the Florida and the Islander game. Now we got another one, but this is one of those things where we have that time for recovery, and with all hope that'll be the recovery. If he travels with the team, because they're Minnesota, St. Louis back to back, Chicago, and then Colorado, for the course of those, whatever that is, 7 to 10 days or whatever it is. So, my guess is he'll be getting on that plane next week and going with the team. And if he does that, that means his return is imminent sometime over those 4 games. If he stays home, we know it's a more serious thing. But with him being almost ready to go against Buffalo, you would think he's closer than we all suspect.
Absolutely. And, hopefully it is as soon as possible. Only the Dallas Stars have played fewer games than the New Jersey Devils. So, they've kind of had a little bit to kind of get into things. And that could be why the first period struggles have kind of lingered, because they haven't gotten really necessarily in a rhythm like some of the other teams in the league have. Hopefully that begins once, November starts and they start playing game after that game. They're going to be in Minnesota. They'll be, in my hometown of Chicago. I'll be there when they play the Blackhawks on Sunday of next week. So, couple games against some teams that, not necessarily, the Blackhawks aren't a good team, but you're going to have to contain Bedard and some of the high-end forwards there. Like, you need to have good starts. Hopefully that continues today. I encourage people to start right now putting your predictions into the YouTube chat.
Absolutely.
We will read those in a couple minutes. Before we get to the predictions, though, I know we're kind of short on time today because of football and whatnot. One player I wanted to touch on really quickly. Okay, Jack Hughes is the NHL's leading scorer. He's got 18 points in 7 games. He's been absolutely remarkable. Luke Hughes is really starting to come on offensively. Not defensively. He hasn't been what we know he can be and will be years down the line. He fell down. I'm not necessarily even going to poo-poo his defensive play because he fell down one time. Guys fall down playing hockey. Ice is slippery when wet, in case you didn't know. But Luke Hughes has been outstanding offensively. 30 seconds on Luke Hughes really quick.
I think Luke Hughes is a young player. He's still got a lot to learn, and I think he's doing that. He's really learning on the fly. But I do believe very much like you that it's a long-term impact. He's going to be fantastic, and we got to go through these growing pains right now, which we expected. And he's got to be in these situations if he wants to be a professional in the NHL.
Absolutely. All right, so prediction time, Shorts Guy. Ramona says 4-2. Let's go Devils. Max says 6-3. Selecta says 4-2 Devils. They got to score first. They got to. 0-7 in game scoring first. They are 4-2-1, so they have come back in 4 out of the 7 games. 4-3 Devils says Steve Engel. Let's see. It looks like, Ted says, hi, all. I'm at the game. Hi, Vinnie and Shorts Guy. Very cool.
What up, Ted?
Time at the game.
Seriously, enjoy the game, Ted.
Absolutely. And then Eric says 3-1 Devils. They play solid D tonight. Hopefully the Minnesota Wild are one of those teams that they look like they could score 0 goals one game, but then Kaprizov goes off and has a 3-point night the other game. So we'll see what happens with this Devils team. Shorts Guy, what is your prediction?
I'm going to make a prediction because I want a tight defensive game. So I'm going to say 2-0 Devils. I really want to see some tight defense. I'm not a 7-4, 5-3 type of person as far as it comes to score line. So I'm going to say 2-0 because I prefer a defensive game.
Yeah, that's very fair. I obviously, goals are fun. When I hope the Heritage Classic is 7-6.
I'll take
absolutely.
that. Yeah, that'll be fun to see a 7-6 Heritage Classic.
Yeah, and when I'm watching other teams, I'm like, okay, I hope every single game I watch that doesn't include the New Jersey Devils ends 10-9. I really do. I love goals. But when the Devils play, I'm with you. You got to play well defensively. If you win 6-1, that means you played well defensively. Score all the goals you want. You have high-end talent for a reason. But, tonight against the Minnesota Wild, which they've kind of been the Western Conference Devils over the course of their history. They never had a player like Jack Hughes, but Jack Hughes is new to Devils fans. So, pre-Jack Hughes, the Minnesota Wild were very similar to the Devils in the way they played and always were defensive-minded, building from the back end out. And, they kind of still are that way. Kaprizov is looking like their best offensive player in team history, too. So we'll see what happens with them. And I'll give my prediction. I think the Devils are going to win this game. I'll go 3-1. I think a 3-1 victory for the Devils a couple guys would be able to get on the score sheet, and it would mean they played solid defensively. Get the first goal for once in your life.
Oh my gosh!
But if you don't, it hasn't yet really, because they 0-7 on first goal. they've come back in more than half of them. So you have to figure out a way. It's not necessarily something that I think is sustainable. You have to be able to get the first goal more often than not, but we'll see what happens. And then, of course, the great Sam Wu says 3-2 Devils, and he wants to point out it's his anniversary today. Happy anniversary to Sam Wu. Very happy for you and Mrs. Wu. No rhyme intended, but when you have a last name like Wu, that is just so sweet. And, congrats to Mr. and Mrs. Wu. I wish you nothing but happiness and for the rest of your lifetime as a married couple. So, and he said, I hope the Devils don't disappoint me like the Giants did. Well,
that was a disappointment.
The Giants have won 2 Super Bowls since the Devils last won the Cup. So hopefully everybody can get back to winning because all my favorite teams besides the Devils suck. So I don't feel bad for anybody. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I hope everybody that's attending the game today is enjoying themselves. If you're a Jets fan, I know we got some Jets fans watching. Obviously, Shorts Guy and Sam don't like you, but I don't have a problem with you. I don't have a problem with you one bit. You're kind of the East Coast Bears over there on the New York Jets. So, we kind of got a lot in common. So, and you took Aaron Rodgers out of my hair. So, also, that's another reason I like you Jets fans. I hope Aaron comes back. He's coming back. Let's go Jets. And let's go Giants. And most importantly, let's go Devils. But I hope everybody, like I said, you had a good time watching the show. I know it was a shorter one than usual today.
It was.
But Shorts Guy and I always have fun talking with you. And guess what? The Let's Go Devils podcast network is not done today. After the show, after the
Big
game,
day.
you are going to want to tune into Devils After Dark, where Scotty of Sirius XM is going to be with you, recapping the game that was. And I believe there is the big Sunday show tonight, correct?
Yes. The big show is going on, I believe, regularly scheduled at 9 p.m. tonight. So that's where you'll catch Scotty again. If he chooses to do 2 in a row, back to back, and then myself and Beer Baron and Sam will be there as well, and we can talk more Devils hockey, and we can talk more and Crew Brew if we want as well. Because why the hell not?
Absolutely.
We have our own beer.
What a great triple header it is. What a great triple header it is, presented by Anchor Brew. You got Game Day Live, you just heard. You got Devils After Dark following a sick Devils win. And then you got the Sunday show. Tonight, the Let's Go Devils podcast is the place to be. Shorts Guy's probably going to talk more about the Oilers than the Devils on the Sunday show. I'm just warning you right now.
It's possible.
My Oilers, my second most watched team last season. They're not my second most watched team so far this year, but we'll see where we stand in April. But, we're ready to get going here. And I hope everybody enjoyed the show just as much as I did. Again, a little shorter than usual, but we will be back for Game Day Live ahead of their game on Thursday against the Minnesota Wild. And like I said, yes, I'm shoving it down your throat. You got the post-game show and the Sunday show not long after the game is over, so make sure you tune in. And as the great Sam Wu would always say to end every single show, let's go Devils.